Hello and welcome to lecture 13. In this lecture, we will discuss SAM processes at a glance. We will discuss SAM processes according to the ISO 19770 standard. This figure shows the ISO 19770 standard processes, a total of 15 processes divided into three tiers. We will discuss Tier 1, trustworthy data, first. The first processes or the first process of Tier 1 is change management. This process is used to control planned changes, review the consequences of unintended changes, and act to mitigate any adverse effects as necessary. It includes making the request before the change, implementing the change, and recording after the change. Second process is data management. It ensures that all required data about core IT assets in scope is accurately recorded throughout the life cycle, and that there is documented information for all IT assets. It includes data recording, data verification, and data reporting. Third process is license management. Ensures that required data and information about licenses, related entitlements, and usage against entitlements for all IT assets in scope is accurately recorded. It includes right sizing of licenses, understanding the entitlements of software, keeping up with the changes in the licensing scheme. Last process, security management. It's concerned with managing security effectively within all ITAM activities and support the security approval requirements related to ITAM for all IT assets in scope and conduct periodic verification of compliance with security requirements. It includes security of SAM inventories, security of software assets, enabling broader information security. Tier 2, life cycle integration. And the first process in this tier is specification. The life cycle of the software begins with specification, when we have just received an initial request for or indication of a potential new software asset. In this phase, we are defining and approving the resultant requirements. The specification process is concerned with the proper execution, control, and documentation of the following four activities: requesting software, analysis of the software request, designing the response for the request, and evaluation the received or the options available to fulfill the request. Second, acquisition. We have already confirmed during the specification stage that existing software cannot be reused and new software licenses must be purchased. Effective acquisition is not just about ordering needed software. Effective policies and procedures help you save costs prior to requisitions being raised, during the ordering process, and also after the purchase. Third process, development. Development can pose several changes to SAM. Whether we should incorporate the ISO standard XML information tags from 19770-2 till 19770-4 to allow easier license management. It also includes avoiding open source software where the organization is not planning to make the final product open source as well. Identifying potentially hidden development areas in the organization so that they can be supported by the SAM system. Next process, release. Release involves preparing the software asset for deployment, and it's applicable to both commercial off-the-shelf software and internally developed software. The objective of the release process is to ensure that the asset will meet organizational requirements once deployed, including all SAM requirements. After this comes the process of deployment. Deployment is the moment the asset starts to consume licenses and the moment it starts to be present as a risk to the organization. That is, if it's not properly controlled. The objective of deployment is to compare current deployments with SAM inventories, to keep records of authorized installations, to use deployment tools to help control versioning, release, change, and approvals. After this comes operation. The operation process takes up the bulk of the software asset's life cycle. It takes everything that happens between deployment and retirement. Operation is focused on the management of the software asset. The objective of operation is monitoring, reporting, security, upgrades and patches, backup and recovery, and finally optimization. Next comes the process retirement. Retirement is the last stage in the life cycle of a software asset. Software assets may be retired by uninstalling a specific asset or when an underlying hardware asset on which the software is running on is retired. This may be a physical server, a virtual machine, or a cloud instance. The objective of retirement is the removal of unneeded or unwanted software, unnecessary exposure and expense, licensing concerns. Tier 3 is concerned with optimization. The first process is relationship and contract management. Relationship management typically address mutual expectations and how communication between parties should be handled. Contract management includes the activities which govern the life cycle of the underlying contract, including those addressed in the acquisition process that was covered in Tier 2. Financial management. The financial management process. In this process, software assets represent a significant cost to the organization, which means that these costs need to be planned, approved, tracked, and recorded. With good financial management, you can show how software assets provide a return on investment for your organization. Objective of the process financial management are financial planning, financial reporting, demonstrating financial returns. Next comes the process service level management. Service level management focuses on service level agreements with the organizations that focus on SAM. Service level agreements govern how the service is run. What to pay attention for when managing service agreements is what services are to be provided, performance targets, how it will be monitored, how issues will be reported and escalated, remedies of unresolved issues. Service level management objective is mapping organizational recipients of SAM services, establishing a partnership with the SAM service recipient, agreeing on service level agreements with the SAM service recipients, executing the service level agreements, and achieving continuous improvement. Last comes the process other risk management. The amount of risk and risk treatment measures vary from one organization to another. However, common risks that fall under other risk management include, but not limited to, risks related to business continuity planning, risks related to legal or regulatory requirements, risks related to software publisher audits. And in order to comply with ISO 19717, you should comply fully with Tier 1 and fully or partially with the two other tiers. Thus, having an integrated, trustworthy data is an essential step in implementing a proactive SAM program from the ISO point of view. Thank you very much and see you next lecture.